When it comes to luxury watches, most people can't seem to get enough Swiss watches. To be fair, Swiss watches sit on top of today's watch industry. But what about Japanese watches? Even though a lot of them are on the same level as Swiss watches, and arguably even better in some cases, we can't help but feel they're being overlooked. Welcome to today's video, where we'll be talking all about Japanese watches, why they need to be on your wish list, and some interesting models you can start with. While being different, both Swiss and Japanese watches excel in their regard. On one hand, Japanese watchmakers pay more attention to functionality, while on the other hand, their Swiss counterparts focus more on the luxury and rich storytelling of the timepiece. However, don't take that to mean that Swiss don't focus on functionality or Japanese on luxury. One just tends to outdo the other in the respective niches. Unless you haven't been paying attention, the rise of Japanese watches has always been inevitable. In Japan, there is a rich culture of craftsmanship and a continuous strive for perfection. As if that wasn't enough, their timepieces are crafted with the mind of being different, except in a refreshing way. However, there is a common misconception that Japanese watches are of lesser quality, especially when compared to their Swiss counterparts. But this is far from being true. For more emphasis, let's take a look at Seiko. The brand prioritized modern quartz technology, and as a result, the price of high-quality Japanese watches began to fall dramatically. But does a watch being cheap really make it worse? Seiko is a top Japanese brand, and when compared to Swiss watches, they cannot be underestimated. Take a look at Credor, Grand Seiko, and a few other high-end Japanese watchmaking brands. You'd notice they meet up with other high-end Swiss brands and sometimes even do better. Swiss watches are just more expensive because of the higher quality of precious metals and a couple of other refinements. Do you remember what we said about Japanese watch brands continually striving for perfection? At time trials, they beat Swiss brands in accuracy. Plus, Japanese watches tend to be more open to using different technologies like the spring drive. With that out of the way, how about a rundown of some of the most enticing Japanese watches available right now? First off, how familiar are you with Citizen? If you aren't, how about we start with the Citizen Watch Pro Master Diver Orca Eco Drive men's watch. You see, along with Seiko, Citizen was the first brand to make a proper nailed-on diving watch that the average man could afford. As the years went by, they kept making sensational subsequent dive watches, and then in 2006, the Orca was launched, with the piece expectedly being a hit. And now they've launched three more: the BN023004E, the BN023101L, and BN023501E. By taking a mere look at them, you'd easily spot the DNA of a rich pedigree, but there are a couple of differences. For starters, while the original Orca used titanium, this new edition uses stainless steel for its bezel and case. Also, the size is different. While the older timepiece came in at 48mm, the new one measures 2mm smaller, coming in at 46mm. Finally, there are a couple of other tweaks in the design. The bezel has a new font, and there's an engraved Orca on the case back. Just as one would expect from a high-end Japanese dive watch, the water resistance of 200 meters would dare you to outdive it. Good luck. Plus, it's legible. With its bright dial and hands, one can easily read it. And, as if all that wasn't enough, the watch is powered by the Eco Drive E168. The good thing about the engine is that it doesn't even need any battery changes. If you keep it in the light, you'll get a lot of use time. The engine is solid, reliable, shock-resistant, and lasts long. With an asking price of £329, how many Swiss watch brands can offer you such amazing specs? Another impressive Japanese watch you must consider buying is the Prospex Black Series Night 1965 reinterpretation with the reference SLA 067J1. This particular timepiece is an all-black interpretation of the brand's 1965 original, the Seiko 62 MAS. In terms of design, Seiko maintained a lot of features from the original. However, thanks to its black hard coating, the reinterpretation feels more modern. Back to the similarities though, the dial layout and case shape took inspiration from the 62 MAS, although the SLA 067J1 comes in a black nylon strap and a size up to 41.3mm diameter. Juicing the watch up is the automatic 8L35 caliber. If you don't know much about this engine, it's a 26 joule movement with a frequency of 28,800 vibrations per hour. It also has a power reserve of 50 hours. Here's a bonus piece of information. The automatic 8L35 caliber powering up the SLA 067J1 is based on the caliber 9S55 found on the Grand Seiko, and it is reserved for the brand's top-of-the-line timepieces. With that in mind, it makes sense why the 8L35 is a capable movement. The watch is also rated to be resistant to depths of up to 200 meters underwater, and it comes with a double-domed sapphire crystal with an inner anti-reflective coating. However, with all the juicy characteristics of this timepiece, there is one con we have to talk about though. The permitted deviation of plus 15 to minus 10 seconds per day seems a bit much. With its price range, you can get some COSC certified divers that beat it in that metric. But if you're not too bothered about it, all you need to purchase this watch is £2,700. However, while the timepiece is already available in boutiques and retail partners, Seiko will only be producing 600 pieces of the SLA 067J1. So if this watch speaks to you, you need to make haste. If you don't feel too impressed by the aforementioned watches, have you heard about the King Seiko SPB 279? The watch is housed in a high-grade stainless steel case that screams class and sophistication at every angle you choose to admire it from. It measures 37mm in diameter while having a thickness of around 12mm and a lug-to-lug width of 43.6mm. For the bezel, the King Seiko SPB 279 shows off a smooth fixed ring that sits atop the watch case. However, while the rest of the watch case has a sleek brushed finish, the bezel has been thoroughly polished. We don't mind that though, it gives the watch a nice, irresistible glamour. The bezel is then enclosed around a box-shaped sapphire crystal, which gives its wearer a clear view of the watch's face. On the right side of the watch, you'd find a medium-sized screw-down crown that bears a delicately embossed image of King Seiko's new Shield logo. We like the fact it has sharp-edged sides. It gives wearers a better grip, so they can turn or hold the crown without any stress. Moving on, if you flip the SPB 279 over, you'd find a solid screw-down caseback made from stainless steel. Another impressive feature of the King Seiko SPB 279 is its dial. It's clean and classy, and its straightforward layout is almost perfect. It sports a brushed silver sunray finish that perfectly complements both the case and bracelet. Plus, each of its components is well organised and appropriately spaced out, giving better legibility. Finally, the King Seiko SPB 279 is powered by a self-winding caliber called the Caliber 6R31 movement, developed by Seiko. Typically found in the brand's Seiko Presage watches, this particular caliber is famous for its simple reliability. It comprises 24 joules and offers a precision rate of plus 25 to minus 15 seconds per day. And if that wasn't good enough, the watch has an impressive power supply of 70 hours. Did you know the movement has manual winding capabilities? With an asking price of £1,400, you won't see too many watches better than this. As a bonus, we have the Japan's unknown finest, the Kuruno Chronograph 2. Without further ado, its stainless steel 38mm by 13.9mm case sits nicely on the wrist. Plus, the curved lugs, approximately 46.5mm lug to lug, take its comfort up a notch or two. Speaking of which, did you know all Kuruno watches feature excellent high-polished cases? It is so reflective to the point where we wouldn't be surprised if some ladies use this as a quick mirror when one isn't available. However, the watch has a water resistance of depths of up to 30 meters. With that in mind, it cannot be overstated that this is by no means at all a dive watch. You probably shouldn't even be wearing this for any strenuous activity. But regardless of what you are wearing when you head out, or even the kind of occasion, be it casual or dressier, this timepiece would be a nice accessory to elevate your look. The colour scheme is also truly attractive, and it helps you to have a better understanding of the dial. The dial has brown, black, copper, silver and dark tones, all of which work harmoniously to convey a ton of information. Moving on, underneath the solid case back, you'd find a Seiko NE86A automatic virtual clutch column wheel chronograph movement that delivers a fantastic experience to satisfy its asking price. In terms of power reserve though, the watch is estimated to run for approximately 45 hours, with the incredibly efficient magic lever winding system ensuring the timepiece quickly winds itself when worn. It's also worth mentioning that the Kurono Chronograph 2 isn't billed as a COSC chronometer, but considering it fits into a more formal and fashionable style, perhaps we should cut it some slack for not being one of the most accurate watches out there.